Well, good afternoon or good evening, and thank you very much to the board of EuroFM for inviting me to attend this conference. It's been, I think, something like 8 years since the last EFMC conference I attended, and it's good to meet up with quite a number of old, I can say old, because all the conversation with the old people has been talking about retirement. They've either just retired, they're wanting to retire, they're trying to find a way to retire, and that seems to be the main topic of conversation. It's also been good to meet the very young and the newcomers into the industry, and the students, and the new innovators, and one hopes the people that will keep the FM industry alive and kicking well into the future. Some disappointments as well, though, by the way, and I don't mean to offend anyone in the things that I say, but I've always been known to speak as I find. I've always cherished the EuroFM model. It's sustained over all of those years through really quite generous donation of time, voluntary effort that keeps EuroFM alive. Unlike most of the professional associations that are on the treadmill of effectively being small businesses and enterprises, EuroFM has a special aura about it, which is born out of this interaction of research, education, and practice. And long may it continue, and for all of you young people coming into it, please keep it alive, please keep it going, and please keep it relevant to the industry. For the older people amongst you, I would say you know I can talk and talk and talk, and we've also all been saying that. We've almost got a book going as to who's going to talk the shortest and the longest. But I did actually have a challenge a few years back to present the history of FM in 5 minutes, which I did, and it's still lurking on YouTube somewhere if you look it up. So if you actually want the whole history of FM, there's just a 5-minute YouTube slot that will tell you most of what you need to know. This challenge is a bit more difficult because it's difficult to choose any specific item or part of the history of EuroFM. So I thought I'd try and make it relevant, and it seems from what I've been listening to, these things are still relevant, but the disappointment is that you could have taken this program for the EuroFM conference, and many of the issues that are being discussed were exactly the same as we were discussing 20 years ago. And I'm not quite sure what to make of that, in terms of, does that mean that we're not being innovative? And if you read the little piece that has gone on in terms of the publicity beforehand, I think I've used the expression is that are we in danger of FM becoming a sort of comfortable pair of slippers or a favourite sofa, that we're now in the sort of comfort zone and we're not challenging anything anymore. When we started FM, and I was in very much at the early stages in the mid-80s, we were really disrupting markets. We were disrupting the status quo. We were challenging real estate, we were challenging procurement, we were challenging the way businesses were administered, and we were the new boys on the block, and we were treading on toes, and we were being disruptive. My concern is, has all of that passed? Are we now becoming one of the traditionalists? Depending on which session you've been into, some would say we haven't made it yet, some have said there's a long way to go, some are saying we're maturing, we've got standards, there are things that are, if you like, making it established. And that slightly worries me in terms of accepting the status quo. So, all those years ago, 20 years ago, I would say we were disruptors. Many of you will remember that were around in those early days that one of the challenges in the European market was to try and put on benchmarking projects and events that could actually compare like for like service performance and costs across the European territory. always very difficult, almost, I would say, impossible to achieve. And most of the effort that went into those benchmarking projects, and where most of the money and the personal time went, was in discussion about what to measure, how to measure, and even if there was a benchmarking project, and all the time that was going into measuring and getting the statistics and getting the data that could be compared. And so today, I'm not sure whether you're going to see something on the screen or not, but we tried to do something with this a little bit earlier. But I have a device that was in my pocket. You can see it maybe a bit closer than you'll see here on the stage. And I just want to put it to you in a bit of a challenge that this is your disruptor now. This is going to disrupt our market. This is going to disrupt enterprise. And what this is a multi-purpose sensor. This little box has 10 sensors in it, including a gyroscope. I can tell you it costs 29 euros, and you can put it anywhere in the world and immediately relay anything that it can measure instantly into servers and inform you about the information that it's in contact with. So these wireless devices, and there are many of them, are including air temperature, quality of air, vibration, movement, anything you can imagine that you would want to measure, which we were thinking about in those early days about tracking things and wanting to measure things in the benchmarking projects. Now with no effort, just a bit of resin to stick it somewhere that's relevant. We'll sing out the data now for 5 years without renewing the battery, and all of that data is in the airways and is deliverable and relayed back into central systems using smart boards in terms of looking at variances, looking at parameters out of line, looking at exception reporting, with no physical measurement required at all, simply taking it at the point of need. So these things can now be set up, and according to Gartner, the expectation is that there will be 50 billion of these devices in use by 2020. So I just want you to think about the applications and the meaning of that in terms of our industry. And I would say this is probably the most exciting opportunity in FM, certainly that I've seen in the last 20 to 25 years. And I think this is going to be the future, and this is what we should be focusing our attention on. And so the challenge that I just want to leave you with is that we can ignore this. I've been slightly upset in the last 10 to 20 years when you see that facilities management was always about sustainability, as an example, and sustainability arises as if it's a new thinking, new associations for sustainability managers. We were doing it 30 years ago, much the same, and good husbandry was always at the heart of facilities management. And so the challenge I'm sort of putting to us is don't let these things usurp our position and our standing and our management expertise and our knowledge into the marketplace. What we should be doing is embracing this technology, adding the intellect and adding the knowledge that comes out of the analytics. But believe me, my view of the next few years, this isn't going to take very long. This is today's technology. We're implementing it now. We're using it now for clients. Is the way it's going to be in the future. There are many issues that will come out of that. The processes it will impact on, human resource, technical skills, design, workflows. But believe me, we should be paying a lot of attention to technology and these devices, because if we don't do it, I can tell you that the technology, big business, whether it's Oracle, Microsoft, Google, will all start filling this space and delivering it directly without necessarily the management intelligence and the thinking that we have. So that's my challenge for you. I hope I'm sort of within the 5 minutes. But to try and link the things, we started all very manual, a lot of human effort, everything going into trying to get to the answers, and now it's becoming automated, and I think it will do for many, many years to come. So thank you for your attention. I wish you well and hope EuroFM has many years ahead of it. Thank you.